Hello students, welcome to my 11th video. Today we are going to start a second grammar lesson that we have in our book, which is nouns. So before starting, I want to have a recall what is noun and what are the different types of nouns. Now we know that nouns, the definition that we learn in our junior classes, that nouns is the name of a person, place or thing. That is, nouns are the naming words. Now here we are going to have a recap of the different types of nouns that we have. So to begin with, the first type that we have is concrete noun. Second we have is abstract noun. And third we have is collective noun. Now these you must have gone through in the previous classes. Concrete noun, abstract noun and collective noun. These are the main three divisions, and then we have subdivisions under concrete noun. But let us first know what is concrete, what is abstract and what is collective. So concrete noun means those nouns which come in some material existence, which have their physical existence, which can be seen and touched, and which have their existence, material existence. So that falls under concrete noun. The opposite of that is abstract. Abstract does not have any physical existence. It can only be, it is just a quality or idea of things. Like for example, love, the noun like love, hate, trust, loyalty, then lie, truth, all these fall under the category of abstract because they do not have any shape or existence. We cannot see truth, we cannot see love, we can only feel these things. So these are the feelings, the qualities or ideas, they fall under the category of abstract noun. Next we have collective noun, that is, it comes in a group form, that is in a collection of things together, falls under collective noun. Like we have crowd of people, then we have herd of animals. So these kind of nouns fall under the category of collective noun. So these are the main division. Now under concrete noun we have further subdivisions. Let us see. Abstract do not have any division, collective also do not have, but concrete has. So first we will see the first type of concrete noun is proper and second is common noun. Now this we have done also before in our previous classes. Proper noun means those nouns that have, those nouns means those name of person or place or thing in specific, means a person's name, like suppose Rahul, that comes under proper noun. A country's name like India, US comes under proper noun. And the opposite of that is common noun, means that do not have any specific name. In general, when we talk about anything, that comes under common noun. Like if I say country, so country falls under common noun. If I say people, man, woman, these comes under common noun. So that is the first division of concrete noun. You have to remember this. Then under common, we have further subdivision, like first is the gender noun, and second we have number, means the nouns are again divided into number and gender. Now first let us see. We know that gender means those nouns which tell us either the male or female of a noun. So that falls under gender. Now let us see what are the different types under gender. The first we have is feminine gender, that is the female. Feminine gender means the female of any person or animal. Then we have masculine, the male of any person or animal. Then we have common noun, those nouns that can either be male or female come under common noun. Like we have teacher can be a female or male. Like we have student, a student can be a male or female. Like we have professor, like we have doctor. They all fall under the category of common noun. Next we have neuter noun. Neuter noun do not have, those nouns which do not have male or female of them fall under neuter noun, means they neither have male or female part of them. For example, like tree, plants, flower, they fall under category of neuter. They don't have male or female of them. So these are the 4 types falling under gender. Next we have this one, the number. We those nouns which are countable and uncountable fall under number, countable and uncountable. Countable, the ones which can be counted; uncountable, the ones which cannot be counted. Like water we cannot count, sand we cannot count, grains we cannot count. So they all fall under uncountable. Countable, of course, there are plenty of things we can count, like table, chairs, books, copies. We can count them. So they fall under countable noun. Now countable noun are again divided into singular and plural noun. Singular and plural noun, we know that the rule of changing a noun into plural, there are different rules also that we will get to see in next chapters. So this is all about the types of noun we did in our previous classes, and I just wanted to have a recall of them. Just pause this video in this place and copy this down in your copies. I want you to write down this in your copies when you're beginning this lesson, writing in your copy. So that is here about the nouns and the types. I hope it is clear to you. Now we will be moving to the first important topic that is discussed. This was just the recapitulation of the previous thing that we have done. Now the main topic that is discussed in the lesson that we are going to learn now, that is the placement or the use of nouns in a sentence, in which different ways nouns are used in sentences. So for that we will first have to know what are the different names given to such uses. We have direct object, we have indirect object. These are the things we need to learn here now, the new things for you. And we have object of the prepositions. Object of the preposition. These are the 3 things we will learn now. First, second and third. So let us see, these are just all the nouns. Actually these are nouns. The names are given according to their use in the sentence, where they are placed and how they are used in the sentence. Direct object, indirect object and object of the preposition. So let us have one example so that the things become clear to you. Let us say this example. Rahul gave me a pen. So what we see here, it's a simple statement. We did sentences in the first lesson, just a simple statement here. Rahul gave me a pen. Now we have to first see what is the verb given here, gave. So in this sentence which I have given you, we have both direct object and indirect object. So let us first see how to locate them, or how to understand which is direct object and which is indirect object. Now these are the 2 objects here. Me and a pen are the 2 objects here. So how we will know that which is direct object? The question for the direct object will be formed with what? We will ask the question with the given verb using what? What was given? A pen was given. So the question you will form with what? You will get the answer of the direct object in the sentence. What was given? A pen was given. So that is what this a pen is a direct object here. Second, we have indirect object, which you get the answer of is to or for whom. Asking the question to or for whom, you get the answer of indirect object. So That is, me is here the indirect object, because to whom it was given, this question we get, to whom it was given to me. So it becomes a indirect object. So that is what we learn here. By forming question, you can make out which is direct and indirect. The action of giving was done on pen, so it becomes direct object. Then to whom it was given, to me, it becomes indirect object. So let us see one more example. He was appointed, they appointed him the class monitor. So what we see here, the main verb is appointed. So first we will ask the question with what. What was appointed? What was appointed by them? The class monitor was appointed by them. So what answer we get when we ask the question what? The class monitor. So this becomes direct object. Then we see that who was appointed? Who was appointed here? Then to whom this appointment was done? To him. So this becomes the indirect object. So this is here indirect object, this is the direct object. So this direct and indirect is, I hope, clear here to you. Now let us see the object of the preposition. Object of the preposition. Before that, we know that prepositions are those words that tell us about the position of the noun in a sentence. Prepositions only itself we can make out position, means the position of the noun, and they are placed before the noun. Preposition, they are placed before the noun to tell you the position of the noun. So here we have the use of noun as object of the preposition in a sentence. How it is done, how it is there in the sentence, let us see that. Let us see. Swati kicked the ball towards the wall. Towards the wall. So what we see here, the main verb is kicked. And for knowing the direct object, we will ask the question with what? What was kicked? The ball was kicked. So what we get here, this is the direct object. Now, next we see here it is given another object, the wall. But there is a preposition placed here. This is the preposition towards, showing the position of the wall. This is preposition showing the position of the wall. So towards the wall. So that is what she kicked the ball towards the wall, means the ball was kicked towards the wall where the wall was. So this is what we see, preposition. This whole thing becomes the object of the preposition. So this is the object of the preposition. You will have always with a preposition placed in front of the noun. Let me give you some other example of some such type. He fell off from his bicycle. Fell off. This is the verb from his bicycle. This from is the preposition here and his bicycle is the object here. So this from his bicycle is the object of the preposition. We don't have any direct, indirect object here. Just we have the object of the preposition from his bicycle. This is object of the preposition. Now I will give you one example where there is only the direct object. He ate up the whole cake. Suppose he ate up the whole cake. So this, what was eaten up by him? The whole cake. So this is the direct object. We can just call it object or just the direct object, because we don't have any indirect object used here. Only one object is there. So it is understood that this is the direct object in the sentence. He ate up the whole cake. There is no other object here. So we see that there can be sentences where there is direct, indirect object both together. There are sentences where there is only object of the preposition. There are sentences where there is only direct object. So there is nothing that they have any relation with each other. Only that the placement in the direct and indirect is that the indirect is placed in the sentence and then the direct is placed. Like we did that example, the previous example, in that we saw that the indirect object was placed before the direct object. So that is all about the direct and indirect object and object of the preposition in the sentence and their use. I hope it is clear to you. If I would like you to just re-watch the video again to make it very much clear to you. So that's it for today. Go through the video nicely again and again, and the first part that I described about the types of noun, I want you to write it down in your copies clearly and nicely. That's it. Take care, students, and God bless you all.